Hello guys, welcome back. So there were requests and comments regarding continuation of the legal studies series. So I have started off with it. Let's kick it off then. I left at independence and impartiality of the Supreme Court. Before starting off, one thing which I would like to mention at this point is there is an updated version of the book. That's why some new chapters I've added, though as far as the content of earlier chapters is concerned, I don't think it has changed much, regardless of some new cases which might have added to the content. So case laws you can do if there is any addition, or I will check to it, then I will make the video if possible for me. Otherwise, the chapters which are newly added, rest assured they will be duly covered, and the earlier nomenclature of the videos that are already uploaded on the channel, that will also be changed to suit the updated book which you may have right now. So I will begin with independence and impartiality. We were doing judiciary, and this is where I left in the last uploaded video. So first of all, before proceeding, let me dive into the meaning of independence and impartiality. So independence means you are not coerced or forced or pressurized by somebody to take the decision in a particular direction or in a particular person's favor. And impartiality means regardless of any bias or partiality towards a particular party to the case. Okay, partial means you are having your state of mind or your natural instinct of bias towards a person. That may be because you know him already, or you have an earlier relationship or friendship with that person, so you have that sort of biasness that I know him, he's not that kind of person, so how can he commit a crime? In this way your bias can occur. Regardless of giving the opinion in an impartial manner according to the evidences on record, you are considering your personal bias of knowing him from prior, that he is not a person of criminal intent, so he has not done it. You are passing a judgmental decision, you are passing a partial decision. Okay, so that is known as impartiality and independence. These are the two most crucial concepts for any court. The two concepts are separate and distinct. I hope the meaning are clear what I have told you. Impartiality refers to a state of mind and attitude of court in relation to issues and parties in a particular case, while independence refers not only to the state of mind or attitude, but also to a status or relationship to others, particularly to the executive branch of government, that rests on objective conditions or guarantees. So it can be, I don't know how many of you may have heard, but CJI Justice D.Y. Chandrachud have many a times mentioned that the judiciary is totally independent, and in my 24 years of being a judge, there was no pressure from any government on taking decisions. So what is this? This is his independence. We say judiciary is independent. So judiciary is independent and there has been no pressure from government. Government is what? The other branch of, the other organ of government. I mean, government is the executive branch, right? So status or relationship to others, that means if the government is electing you, then you have to take decision in our favor. Since many a times there are cases central government versus state government, or government versus citizen, PILs which are filed, right? So there is no pressure from the government to take decision in its favor. That is independence. Now refer to some factors that contribute to judicial impartiality and independence and help to ensure a pure and efficient administration of justice between individual and state, as well as between two individuals. Now why these two concepts are necessary? Because as I told you, a particular bias towards a particular party can result in a erroneous decision. Why? Because maybe that You cannot judge any person, you cannot judge that what will his future acts will be. You cannot predict that. So maybe in a change of state of mind, or maybe due to provocation or whatever, that person may have committed that crime, and you are saying that no, I know him, he is not that kind of person. So आपने judgment pass कर दिया कि he is acquitted, means उसने नहीं किया है crime. So this will be an erroneous decision which may cause loss to the other party, to the victim, who were the sufferers, right? So these two concepts are, that's why necessary, so that the richer class who can easily buy something, right, who can easily practice corruption or give bribe, they are not exploiting the rights of the poorer class who are desperately waiting or dependent on the justice which has to be granted by the court. Why people say I will see you in court? Because there is some sort of faith which people still have in the tribunals, in the court system, right? And if you are exploiting that by corruption, that faith is lost. Some people are actually dependent on the verdict of the courts to decide their life. इतना पावर होता है जज में, आप किसी की लाइफ और डेथ डिसाइड कर रहे होते हो. So that does not has to be partial, that does not has to be by pressure from somebody. कोई बहुत रिच आदमी है जिसने कोई क्राइम किया है, वो आपको ब्राइब दे दे और आप बोल दो कि हाँ इन्होंने क्राइम नहीं किया. दैट इज़ so gross. Not commenting on any of the judges, not commenting on the present judicial system, but just a hypothetical example that I am using over here. Okay, though the limits of judicial review and independence of judiciary were the main issues addressed by Constituent Assembly, other subsidiary questions were also raised. Some of the ancillary issues included whether jurisdiction of Supreme Court can be confined to federal issues. Now, what is federal issues? What is federal structure of government? I think you people know there is a central government at the union level, at the country level, and then we have different state governments for each state. That is the federal structure. Or it should have original and appellate jurisdiction in a wide variety of civil and criminal matters. Another question was whether India should have a dual system of courts, state and federal, as in United States. Now your homework is to search for this dual system of courts. Okay, so what structure do we have today? We have federal structure. Why? Because there is a whole hierarchy of court system in India. India is a parliamentary democracy having federal constitution. Constitution does not provide for a dual system of courts. There is single integrated system for union and states which administer both union and state laws. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was perhaps the greatest proponent for establishing one single integrated judiciary capable of providing remedies in civil, criminal, constitutional law matters. Now this is a very important paragraph. You may underline, and the one expression which is written in bold, one single integrated judiciary. Please underline this and learn this. This may form a keyword, a key expression for you guys. Okay, so what the Constituent Assembly and the framers have opted for: single integrated judiciary at center and country level, the apex court, right, and civil, criminal, see all kind of disputes can go to Supreme Court, either in the original jurisdiction, मतलब वो डायरेक्ट उसके पास केस गया, या फिर अपील्स के थ्रू केस गया. जो भी केस हो, सिविल, क्रिमिनल या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सबके साथ वो डील कर सकता है. वेयर एज इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल यू मे सी सेशंस जज होते हैं फॉर क्रिमिनल मैटर्स, सिविल जज होते हैं फॉर सिविल मैटर्स, राइट. यहाँ पर हमने डिवाइड कर दिया, बट जैसे जैसे हम ऊपर जा रहे हैं सारा कुछ एक जगह पे कंसाइज हो गया. दैट्स वाई इट्स सिंगल इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशरी which can provide remedies for various legal matters. India has unified judicial system with Supreme Court at the apex, high courts below Supreme Court. Under each high court there exists a system of subordinate courts. Supreme Court is the supreme interpreter of the Constitution and guardian of various fundamental rights. Supreme Court also helps in maintaining uniformity of laws throughout the country. So the basic function of judiciary is to interpret the laws. Now, what is the meaning of this? The main function of legislature is to frame laws, right? But whatever they have written, like what I am doing right now is the interpretation of NCERT book. Okay, this is an example. So whatever I am doing, I am reading line by line, I am trying to understand the meaning of it, that what this book is trying to convey, and then I am trying to convey the same to you. So what is this interpretation of the NCERT book? Similarly, whatever statute, act or law which is framed by the legislature, be it parliament or be it any state legislature of the country, when the matter goes to the Supreme Court, or for that matter any court, let it be high court even, the function is to interpret, to understand. Interpret means to understand what is written over there, to understand what the intent of legislature was to write that line. If the line is that there are high courts below the Supreme Court, and under each high court there exists a system of subordinate courts, so what does this mean? I have to understand this. That means I am interpreting this. And the main purpose of interpretation is to understand what was the main purpose behind framing this legislation. Like you may have heard consumer protection laws. What was the main purpose behind formulating that? To protect the rights of consumers, to make them aware that they have to take a bill whenever they purchase something, to exist as a proof of purchase, right? And various other legislations, women protection laws, whichever are made, posh or other, etc. So what are these? What is the main purpose? To protect the vulnerable section of society, that is women, right? So you have to understand the basic aim of interpretation is to understand the meaning of what is written in that book, in that statute, what is the main intent of legislature behind framing that law, or what the legislature wanted to convey with the line that it has written in that statute. This is the main purpose of judiciary, because if it will not understand what is written, then how will it pronounce the decision on the basis of that law? लॉ को समझना ज़रूरी है ना, तभी तो उसके बेसिस पर हम डिसीजन दे पाएंगे. अगर हमें समझ में ही नहीं आया, जैसे हम बोलते हैं अभी आप समझ लो, फिर आप इसको याद करके यू विल बी एबल टू राइट इट इन योर ओन लैंग्वेज इन एग्जाम्स. कैसे लिखोगे अगर समझोगे नहीं तो? उसी तरह से आप अप्लाई कैसे करोगे वो लॉ अगर आपको समझ में नहीं आया? सो इंटरप्रिटेशन मीन्स उस लॉ को समझना, ताकि उसको करेक्टली फैक्ट्स और सर्कमस्टांसेस ऑफ द केस में अप्लाई करके एक एक्यूरेट डिसीजन दिया जा सके. दैट वुड सर्व द बेस्ट इंटरेस्ट ऑफ बोथ द पार्टीज कंसर्न्ड and also the state as a whole. State means society. Fine. So interpretation means that guardian of fundamental rights, because I think we have done earlier also under Article 32, which is of another fundamental right. Supreme Court can protect, or it guarantees the fundamental rights with whosoever fundamental right is violated. He can file a petition under Article 32 of Indian Constitution directly to the Supreme Court for violation of his or her fundamental right, right? And the same thing concerned with High Court is in under Article 226. Okay, then Constitution has ensured independence of judiciary through a number of provisions. These include subscribing to an oath or affirmation, providing security of tenure for judges by ensuring that judges cannot be removed except through impeachment. Okay, now search for what is impeachment. The discussions are made in the parliament to impeach the judges, and there are only two grounds for doing that. Only two grounds: misappropriation of funds and incapacity to hold that office. Okay, further, that may form a part of your homework to search what does this mean. Okay, oath or affirmation means you may have seen judges taking oath, right? Security of tenure for judges means it is fixed and they cannot be removed unless those two grounds are sufficiently proved and passed by majority in the parliament. So it is sort of cruel और gross that उनके capability का discussion हम legislature में कर रहे हैं, जहाँ के लोग खुद कितने capable होते हैं, right? Okay, no comments. But that is how it is, and it is rare. Till now only one judge is impeached so far, Justice Soumitra Das. Okay, then retirement at the age of 65 years for judges of Supreme Court, 62 for judges of High Court, which is significantly higher than retirement age in other public services. Protection of privileges, allowances, perks, annulments by charging them to the Consolidated Fund of India. Power to punish for their contempt, not being subject to discussion on the floor of legislature for their conduct in judicial matters. That means whatever decision they have passed or whatever in their judgment they have given the reasoning, that cannot be discussed and made fun of in the parliament. Okay. Appointment of judges. Constitutional provisions regarding appointment of a judge is that only those persons can be appointed who are citizens of India, has been judge of a high court or two or more courts in succession at least for 5 years, has been advocate of high court or two or more such courts in succession at least for 10 years, or a distinguished jurist in opinion of the president. So who appoints? The president. Most of the appointments have been made from sitting judges or chief justices of high courts. Okay, they are promoted to the position of the to the judge of the Supreme Court. So these are the qualifications, you can say. No other qualification, just that उनका experience देखा जाता है. So this you have to learn, nothing to explain in that as such. Dr. Ambedkar said in Constituent Assembly it was intention of framers to create a judiciary and to give it ample independence so that it could act without fear or favor of executive or anybody else. Judiciary, through its collegium of judges, enjoys considerable powers in the appointment of judges to the higher constitutional courts. Collegium is basically a group of 5 senior most judges of the Supreme Court who decide, or they make a suggestion list that who all can be promoted to the position. Okay, so that is the meaning of collegium. For you can only understand the group of 5 senior most judges. अदर चीज़ें आप फर्दर लेवल पे पढ़ोगे, अभी उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है. Ample independence, I told you what is independence, that you are not under the fear, under the coercion, under the pressure from anybody to give the decision in favor of that particular person. Also reported that Government of India has initiated various measures to introduce reforms in the judiciary. It has proposed to enact a new law, Judges Standards and Accountability Act, which seeks to introduce greater accountability in judiciary. Now, structure and hierarchy. So this is the hierarchy which I was saying earlier. Let me zoom in. See, Supreme Court, High Courts, and then below the High Court, as I told you, 5 branches. Civil side, criminal side, courts of small causes, Sessions Court, Metropolitan Magistrates Court. Metropolitan Magistrate और इस दिस मजिस्ट्रेट में ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है नहीं, अभी के लिए आपको बताने लायक भी नहीं है वो, सो लीव इट. मेट्रोपॉलिटन इज़ ऑफ सर्टेन एरियाज एंड मजिस्ट्रेट तो हर ही सिटी में होता है, ठीक है. जहाँ पे कमिश्नर्स होते हैं वहाँ पे मेट्रोपॉलिटन आता है. City Civil Court and Court of Small Causes. This Court of Small Causes is decided on the basis of pecuniary jurisdiction, that is amount of money related matters that they can deal with. Fine. Then district level, district court, civil judge, sessions court as I told you, and judicial magistrate. Judicial magistrate is of every city. Metropolitan magistrate is in few cities, okay. And in CRPC, in IPC, you may see these terms: Metropolitan Magistrate and Judicial Magistrate. Then we have tribunals. What are tribunals? Quasi judicial bodies, right? Not actually judicial but of judicial nature, and these are set up for particular purpose as the name suggests. Income tax, CAT, that is Central Administrative Tribunal. Motor accident claims, cooperative, scent control, National Green Tribunal. There are more, etc. Then industrial court and family court. Now High Court stands at the head of judiciary in a particular state. Civil, criminal, ordinary, extraordinary, general, special jurisdiction. सिविल मतलब क्या होता है आपको पता होगा. क्रिमिनल यू नो. ऑर्डिनरी, एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी. ऑर्डिनरी मीन्स original, okay. Extraordinary, general, special jurisdiction. Institution of High Court is fairly old. When under the Indian High Court Act 1861, High Courts were established at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. In course of time, other high courts were established. High courts enjoy original jurisdiction in respect of testamentary, matrimonial and guardianship matters. Testamentary means a person dies without making a will. Will मतलब पता होगा, the last wish of the deceased, कि मेरी प्रॉपर्टी इस पर्सन को इतने पोर्शन में जानी चाहिए. विल, जायदाद जिसको हिंदी में आप बोलते हो, ठीक है. सो इफ पर्सन डाइज विदाउट मेकिंग द विल or by making the will, those matters are dealt in testamentary. Matrimonial means marriage related matters. Guardianship means child के guardian बनना. Original jurisdiction is conferred under various statutes. High courts enjoy extraordinary jurisdiction under 226, that is writ jurisdiction, as I told you in this video. Each high court has supervisory power over subordinate courts since it's the हेड ऑफ द स्टेट. सो जितने भी कोर्ट्स उसके नीचे आए हैं इधर ये हेराइक्री में, उन सब का सुपरविजन करेगा इन सब कोर्ट्स का. ऑल्सो it will keep a record of all these, whatever decisions it is giving, whatever work has been done, ठीक है. वो सारा सुपरविजन का काम हाई कोर्ट का होगा. Each high court, being a court of record, enjoys the power to punish for its contempt as well as of its subordinate courts. Court of record, as I told you, वो उनका रिकॉर्ड रखता है. अपने जो डिसीजंस लेगा उसका भी रिकॉर्ड करेगा, तभी हाई कोर्ट के डिसीजंस में नंबर्स आते हैं. Rather, every case has a number so that record can be maintained easily. Punish for its contempt. Contempt means you have not obeyed the order. Fine. सो कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट का आपके खिलाफ सिविल या क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स हो सकती हैं. नाउ these articles, these you need to learn. Fine. I cannot explain much, but you have to learn these. 214 High Court for states. For each state there will be a High Court. 215 Court of Record. Every high court shall be a court of record. Powers of such a court including power to punish for contempt of itself. And high court for each of the state except Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, which have high court of Assam at Guwahati as their common high court. Punjab and Haryana also have a common high court at Chandigarh. Goa, which is under Bombay High Court. This is a very, very, very important fact which you need to remember always, not only for this class 11th paper but always. This is a part of your GK. In fact, whatever polity, constitution you are studying, that all forms a major part of GK, and this is very important, a basic question. So remember this paragraph. इसको हाईलाइट करो, जो करो, बट इसको याद करो. Supreme Court has appellate jurisdiction over high courts and highest court of land. ये तो पता ही है. So now from subordinate courts in India we will be doing in the next video. Thank you so much.